What's up, crypto heads? This is Michael Bradley from the Cryptic Paranormal Show, and as always, I got you know yourself top. How's it going?
Very good. How are you?
Good, and we have our special guest, Josh Bender from Deadlight. Um, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good, doing good. How are you guys?
Great.
Good, good. This is our first time without Ray, so it's going to be a little bumpy.
You have to call him Goose. Nobody knows who the hell you're talking about.
I will always call him Ray. Always
I
have,
think it
always
was.
will. Every
I
once in
think
a
it was.
while, Goose will slip out.
I think it's been. I think it was honestly over a year before I even knew that that was his name. Somebody said something about Ray, and
Really?
I was like, "Who the hell is Ray? Like, what are you talking about?" He's the
Yes,
Goose.
I've always called him Ray. I've always called him Ray. I knew him before the Goose.
That's true. But yeah, we will miss him
So,
tonight. We'll try to do our best.
yes, he might chime in, he might not. They're going through some stuff. So we'll just, we'll do what we have to do and try to do it good. So sorry, Josh, that you're gonna have to put up with us. But
Right. Welcome to the shit
the
show.
the good the good thing is, and this is true, and I've always said this, I don't know much of the inner workings of the paranormal. So I'm gonna be more of a fan as well because I've seen what you've done. I was at at MadCon, all that,
Mhm.
and it was very interesting. So, like I said, I learn on this show more than probably anybody else
Yeah.
because I really don't know anything. Um, so can you tell me how you kind of got started doing this?
Well, with the paranormal, I got started probably 2004, 2005. We were just a friend of ours owned a bar at the time, and we are just sitting out at the bar, and a friend just started talking about investigating and things like that, and it kind of sparked my interest. So how we got started was there were claims that the bar was haunted. So a couple times we would wait until the bar closed, and then we would we'd get out the tape recorders and things like that, and digital cameras, and I think the 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 one guy had it was almost, I don't know if it was, no, I think it was the little tapes. I think it wasn't the VHS tapes, but it was the smaller ones. But
Mhm.
we set up a camera, and then we'd go to the basement. We'd let it run for a while, and then we'd try and do EVP sessions and stuff. And I really liked doing it. And we had a couple experiences, maybe something that that I look back on now and be like, well, that can be explained. It was all new to us, so we didn't really know exactly what we're doing, and it was interesting. So it just kind of grew from there, and you know, I used to shoot pool in a league, and we would travel to different bars and shoot pool. Well, the team that I joined, I don't even know how it came up, but we started talking about investigating and stuff. So we created a group, and I just happened to be lucky enough to meet up with the two people that I did, because the woman, her mom, worked for the county, and there were a couple places that we got to go in and investigate, and one of them was an old prison that they used for. They used to do tours in there, but they had storage for files and other stuff for the county, and we got to go in there and investigate, and that was really cool, because it was a pretty big prison. It's in the middle of a town close to where I grew up. It was actually on paranormal lockdown not that long ago, and it was in Evansburg, Pennsylvania, and that's close to where I'm originally from, is Western Pennsylvania. And we did a couple other buildings, and we actually did the functioning courthouse in town there. We were allowed to go in there, and we had some pretty cool experiences in there, and it just kind of grew from there. And then there was a little break in there when I moved to West Virginia, and until I joined a group, down here, and moved on from that, and ended up, taking her around with some things. And I always liked, tearing stuff apart and putting it back together, modifying stuff, that kinds of things. And I started building, IR lights. I was taking apart security cameras that I didn't use anymore, and mounting them on boxes, and putting batteries to them, and just trying different things out, trying to, just make something better than what I had. And it just kind of grew from there. And then I started a podcast a few years ago, and Justin Brown was one of my first guests, and we just kept in touch after that. And we talked back and forth every once in a while, and then we started talking about lighting and stuff like that. And I had built a light that had higher power LEDs, and I showed it to him, and he really liked them, but it was a camera that he had a wide angle lens on it. It just wasn't illuminating everything, the whole field of view. So we come up with the idea to, what if we curved the face of the light? And so I started thinking, and I found something that I was able to work with, and cut it down, shaped it, was sanding and created this light, and showed it to him, and he really liked it. And I told him, since he helped out with the development of that he could name it, and he named it the Necro, and that's how the Necro was born. And when I first showed him, we actually first met at Higginsport School, because he was doing a documentary, and I was doing drone work. I was messing around with drones and stuff like that, and I offered to come up and meet him and do some drone work for his documentary. And I took the lights with me and showed him and everything, and he tried them out, and they worked really well. And he's like, "You should sell these." So, and that's how Deadlight got started. He actually came up with the name too, the name Deadlight, and that actually came from Pennywise, from It. His original form is called the Deadlight. Now it's spelled a little bit different, but that's kind of how it all originated. And I really liked the name and everything, and that stuck too. So that also kind of started an addiction with a Pennywise collection too. So it's constantly growing. But yeah, that's how everything got started. Very simple. It wasn't anything. With the paranormal, it wasn't anything drastic. It wasn't a life-changing event. It was, my parents have told me that I had different experiences growing up, and they believe that there's different things that happen in their house that they can't explain. But my dad doesn't want to know anything about it. He just lets it be. It doesn't bother anybody, so it's nothing bad. And that's the house that I grew up in. They've lived there for since I was 3. So it's been a long time that they've lived there, and I can kind of remember some things that I experienced, but as a kid, sometimes it's dark. You're outside. They live on a farm. It's not a functioning farm or anything, but they have some land around them, so it's forest and everything. So there's lots of things that you can hear as a kid that that'll scare you and make you wonder. But it doesn't really bother me anymore. I don't really get scared or fear that kind of thing. But so that's how everything started.
Yeah. Well, first of all, with that, you probably have the 2 worst people on the show talking about Pennywise and scary movies, because we're both chicken shit and don't watch them.
I actually did see that one.
At least.
Right? I did see that one, and it's one of the reasons why I don't watch scary movies.
Nope, that was one of the ones that I would turn the commercial off. I was like, nope.
Yeah. Well, my family, for some reason, let me watch it when I was very young, and yeah, after that, I was like, nah, I don't need to watch these anymore. Nope, I'm good.
I don't. I mean, there's some horror movies that I do watch, but some of them just, I like, really like the Walking Dead series. All those shows. I like those. I like American Horror Story. And I've watched the older, Friday the 13th and Jason and Halloween and all that stuff, and then
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street and movies like that. But the newer stuff I really haven't got into much. Like I watched the Haunted Hill House. I really
Yeah.
liked it.
I
Blind
did watch
Mansion.
that.
The Haunting of Blind Mansion, that was confusing. I'm not even sure that we watched the last episodes, but we still have to watch those yet. But yeah, some of the new horror movies, I really didn't get into much, but I kind of like the real stuff and being in the location and experiencing things. But
yeah. And I don't like to bring that shit home. You know what I mean? Like, I go places to do scary things. Like, I don't want to watch scary movies at home. Maybe if we had like a scary movie marathon at the seminary, like I'll go. That'd be different.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just don't like my house to be scary.
That sounds like a good idea for the seminary.
Right?
Haunted movie night.
Yeah, we could set up a screen in the asylum and get the popcorn.
You need the big glass popcorn maker.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Although I don't know if the residents up there would appreciate the scary movies. Maybe we should do like a Christmas movie marathon or something.
There you go. Come to that. My brother is 5 years younger than me, and he was watching Friday the 13th and all those, and I was hiding.
Nice. Your younger brother.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, did you have I was listening to it, we were talking about that. Did you have more did you have training or anything with dealing with that, or did you just start messing with the lights, like you said, or you have a background is what I was trying to get at with?
Well, I always started taking things apart and testing different things, but I went to automotive school. I worked in a body shop and painted cars for 8 years, and then after that but in automotive school I did have a one electrical class. It wasn't anything extravagant or advanced or anything like that. It was kind of basic. But what I do now and what I've been doing for the last almost 12 years is I work on wind turbines. So we do a lot of the greasing and the maintenance, the torquing and stuff like that, but we also do the electrical troubleshooting. So I've had online electrical classes that we have to do for our raises and stuff like that. It's called tech progression. So we learn about electric motors and different things like that. So we're always using meters. We're always testing and troubleshooting high voltage and stuff like that. So this is simplified basically, and it was just basically a thought process, something that I would think up in my head and do some research on how I could do it, and putting together the circuits to get the light to do what I wanted it to do.
And it certainly does. I know a lot of people that use your lights and absolutely swear by them. So you guys you're kicking ass at all of the technical stuff you're doing.
Thank you. The only thing I haven't been kicking ass at is getting a lot of the orders out. I've been really trying. I would say that I am completely recovered from my surgery now, but I'm still not 100%. I'm back to full duty and everything at work. I have been for a little while now, but
you were off for a while, so even just getting back to work is probably exhausting, and then to add everything else you're doing is it's probably too much.
I was out for 2 months, but after about a month I was able to I did have some lights that needed wired up, and my arm was in a splint and then in a brace, so it was kind of hard to do some things. So I was able to figure out how to get these lights wired up so I could get those out. And then it wasn't long after that I was able to actually use my arm a little bit and start building again. But I had such a long list whenever I got hurt that I had to stop taking orders, and I still haven't started to take new orders yet. I'm hoping by January, February I'll be able to open that up again. But I'm working on some other things too. There was actually a guy that I talked to at MadCon. He come up to the art booth and he was talking to me about the lights and everything. And he has a small manufacturing or like a small shop that has all kinds of different tooling. And and 3D printers and stuff like that. So we got to talking, and I'm hoping that maybe we can work something out, and I can get I can start getting my housings manufactured, because my housings are all handmade, and that's what
Nice.
takes so long. Plus, I'm working full time. Plus, there's times I have overtime. I don't get home till late, and so I get in the shop and start working. I'm only in here a few hours during the week, and then of course, if I'm home on the weekends, then I'm in here all weekend. But everything's handmade, and I actually have this is basically a PVC cap, a dome PVC cap that you get from Lowe's,
Right.
and that's how the necros start. It
Nice.
starts with because it has the nice curvature there, and
Yeah.
for the wide angle illumination, and that's how they start. I cut them down. I add ABS plastic to them. They get epoxy together. They get run on this disc sander that I have, or belt sander that I have behind me, and it's all for shaping and everything. So it's I'm doing body work. I'm doing electrical stuff all on these lights. So I really like making them, but it's just not fast enough to keep
if you
up
could
with
take
orders.
out that first step,
Mhm.
just
But
get
you know
straight
what?
started with the lights.
If it's worth it, it's worth the wait.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I was surprised because a lot of people were, I always tell somebody it's when somebody starts asking me questions, I always tell them up front, like, I'm this far behind. And I was 7 to 7.5 months behind consistently for 2 years. And there was still people, like, yeah, add me to the list. So I have a book full of just orders, and I'm slowly getting them, getting down to zero. But I'm hoping to get caught up by the end of the year, by the beginning of the year, so I can start taking new orders again. But,
Nice.
And it's really satisfying when somebody's willing to wait that long for a product that you put so much time and effort into.
Yeah.
It really feels good to know that somebody's willing to wait for that kind of product. So
Right. Well, there's not a replacement that comes close to it. So it's not like, people don't want to spend money on something that's not going to be as good. They'd rather
Mhm.
just wait. I mean, even just in the comments, it looks like you got a couple of people waiting
Mhm.
for the list to open back up.
Yep. Yeah, I see Dustin on there. I see lots of.
Yeah.
There's Casey. He says, "Let's go." I don't know if he's talking about the calendar that we're supposed to make, or if he's.
Yeah, my thought has always been if it's well built and by hand, it's worth the wait.
Right.
Then these new ones, I mean, they'll be hand assembled, but I won't be satisfied with the housing unless it's up to what my expectations are. So it's got to be something sturdy, something strong, and
Right.
something that can be dropped and be okay. And now sometimes it hasn't happened. I honestly haven't had it happen yet, but somebody dropping it and busting a switch or a knob or something like that. Luckily, it's just been like cosmetic damage. And I know Joe Vitale, he's told me that he's dropped his at Hales Bar Dam. I don't know how many times it fell down the cement steps. And I had somebody else say they dropped it off off of a dresser at a location before, and so that's good. I hate to drop test my own because you put all the time into it, and then to drop it. But I've had a couple that it was fighting me. It was giving me troubles, and I got mad and I spiked it off the floor.
Nice.
And it's been fine. So. But it was before I painted it. I didn't have to.
I mean, he doesn't recommend doing that with them.
Right. Yeah.
But
Don't spike it off the floor. I'll still fix it, but I don't recommend it.
Yeah, paranormal investigators are just clumsy people, and
Yeah.
they don't know anyways.
I mean, we're walking around in new places. It's dark,
There's stuff all around.
Oh, geez. Missy ran hers over with a car on purpose.
Actually, it was Derek's, and it was right before investigation, and we were all on a conference call. It was we have these production meetings before we go to a location and film, And I was, we're just, we're having some drinks and we're just having a call, just like this. And I was like, I bet we could run one over with a vehicle. And Justin's like, you won't do it. You won't do it. Before we knew it, Missy ran out the door with it. And, she ran out on the street and put it under the tire of her car and ran it over. So if it would have broke, it would have been no time to fix it with the investigation. So I'm glad it held together. It worked just fine.
Oh my God.
The asphalt scuffed up the rubber coating a little bit, but that's about it.
That's amazing.
But, and that was actually the second one. That was actually the second one I ever built. So whenever I showed Justin his for the first time, I actually had Derek's started. I just didn't have it finished yet. And his was a little bit different. He wanted some full spectrum LEDs on it. So I put some full spectrum LEDs in it. And I actually just rebuilt it and put some Gen 2 upgrades on it because his was one of the original ones. So I did some I had a Gen 2 version come out and I did all the Gen 2 upgrades to it and resprayed it and everything and made it look like new again. So
nice. I think when you talk to that manufacturer, have them do some prototypes and you guys can have a night drinking, testing them out, seeing what you could do to them.
He actually lives in Madison.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. And he should, it's either today or tomorrow, he should have a housing that I built and sent to him, and he's gonna make a prototype and send it to me, and we're gonna go from there. And there are some changes that I'm gonna want to have. So it would be a third generation Necro, but it's still going to be basically the same design. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So it works so well. So unless we come up with something that's going to drastically improve the performance, then we're going to leave that part alone and just add some features. And I have come out with some features that I haven't actually advertised that I do. Somebody will ask about something or something will make me think of it, and I'll tell people about the different features and stuff like that you can get. But actually, one of the most popular ones wasn't even my idea. It wasn't Justin's idea. It was actually a customer that had come to me and said they wanted something custom on their light and asked me if I could do it. And it actually worked out, and it worked out really well, is the pathway lighting. And all the pathway lighting is, and there's two different options for it. It's just two white LEDs on the bottom of the light, and I make them as wide as I take the LEDs out as wide as I can so that you can still mount them to a rig or to a tripod, and it won't block the white light, but it basically illuminates the ground around you so that you can see where you're walking.
Nice.
Because a lot of the times, and me included, is people walking around and they're looking at this little view screen and it's completely dark, and that's how they see everything. Right. So sometimes it's kind of hard, and then you're fumbling around for a flashlight, and all you have to do is reach up and hit a button, or just keep it on all the time. It doesn't affect your view, your camera view, or anything like that, because it doesn't blind anybody because it's all pointing straight down. So it actually just illuminates everything around you so that you can see where you're walking.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I do have some examples sitting beside me here. I can
go for it. Let's see them.
See them.
So the first one I have is what I call the Demon, and this is the first one I built. So it's a little bit different than the ones I make now, but you won't be able to tell by looking at it. But it's just a 10-watt Demon. It's just a basic on-off switch. You can't adjust the intensity or anything like that like you can in Necros. It's just something basic. And like all the Necro, or like all the lights I build, it has the 1/4-20 tripod adapter on the top and on the bottom of the light, so you can hang it, you can mount it underneath a rig or on top of a rig, or put a pistol grip on the bottom of it and then mount a camera on the top. It's pretty versatile, but it's also you can it runs on 18650 batteries, so you can either run it on one or two, and it has two slots for batteries there. And I really like magnets, so I use them. I incorporate them on the Necros and the lids. battery lids are magnetic, and also the diffusers. The diffusers are also magnetic, so
Oh, that's awesome.
you can take them on and off in the dark and just snap them back on.
Yeah.
Now I also make a version of this without the battery compartment on the back, because these are dual power, so you can actually power them externally. And I provide a external battery holder that holds 4 18650 batteries, and it comes with power cords, and you can plug that into the light, power the light that way as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or you could put the the two batteries in the back, and all of the, unless you specify different, unless you want just external power or internal power, they all come dual power, and they all come with the external battery holder, and it's the same battery holder. The same battery holder for the Necros is the same exact one for the Demon, so they're interchangeable. So if you have a Demon and you have a Necro, you can use that battery holder for either one. It doesn't, but all the lights come with it. All the dual power lights come with the external battery holder and the power cords. All you have to do is supply the batteries.
I can tell from the comments, man, that everybody likes your lights, or several people like your lights.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Dustin really wants one.
Dustin has one, actually. Yeah, Dustin has one, and he actually
He does. He showed me at MadCon.
He asked me to build him a piece of equipment, and I've never done it before. So he sent me some videos on it, and I actually have parts ordered to try that out once I get caught up. And it's going to take a while for the parts to come in, but it'll be pretty neat.
So, do you plan on doing other things besides the lights?
Well, my take on it is there's a lot of equipment makers out there, and a lot of the equipment they make is controversial. Does it work? Does it not? Is it actually paranormal? Can you scientifically prove it? So the lights that I make, they do exactly what I say they do.
Right.
Not that their equipment doesn't. I'm not bad mouthing anybody. It doesn't mean it doesn't work, but if an IR light doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
Because you can't see.
Right.
But so I stick with things that things like that actually that I know that they do what I say they do. It's not
right. It's not paranormal.
It's not right.
It's production. Yeah.
And I'm so busy with lights anyway, and to do any kind of other equipment, it would be difficult to keep up with that kind of stuff. But Dustin showed me that, and I was like, I think I can do something like that, and so I'm going to try it, and I may offer it in the future. I'll just explain what it does. Doesn't mean that something paranormal is what makes the piece of equipment work. It's just this is how it works. This is how to make it work. If you want to try it.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, nothing can really be proven. So if people believe in something, then they'll buy it. And if they believe in it, then it's going to work exactly like they think it's going to work. So I mean,
and I would, we don't use equipment as much equipment that's out there. We don't. There's a lot of things that we don't use. It's a lot of methods that we don't do. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to say that doesn't work. That's that's just something that it's not our. It isn't one of our methods that we do. So if I go investigate with somebody else and they pull something out that we don't use, I'm not going to be like, no, that thing's a piece of junk. It doesn't, it doesn't do this or that, or I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, I just go with it. It doesn't, it doesn't bother me that, other people use things that we don't. It's, to each their own.
Right.
But I also had the Slim Demon doesn't have the battery compartment on the back, so it's externally powered only. And the only one I have is actually, I put this. All of us have these rigs now in the group, and we all kind of did our own variations. But this is it's a rig that Jess actually carries around, and once it's put together, it's very easy for them to use. but we start off with the Zoom Q2N. We modified that because we have the, we shoot everything in 4K, so we have the 4K version, and this is modified, full spectrum, and it has a Zoom quality audio, so you don't have to attach a recorder or anything like that. You have really good video, and you have really good audio. And we have, since the screen is very small and the resolution isn't very good on the camera itself, we have a 4K monitor attached to that. And this is the Slim Demon right here. So it's just a regular Demon, but if you can see it, let's see if I can turn that right.
Oh yeah.
See, it's just a little bit thinner. It doesn't have the battery compartment on the back. And then we actually have a battery, one of these batteries. It's a very common battery. It's a Sony FP970 or F970, I think it's called. And it actually has different outputs on it. So it doesn't just have the one output that you're powering your main, which is the monitor. It actually has outputs, has a 5-volt output and a 8.4-volt output. So you can actually power everything on this rig from this battery here.
Wow.
So everything's run on that one thing. And I built one for Anthony Rothless, and I just gave it to him this past weekend whenever he met us to go to Old Licking County Jail. And it's a little bit different, but it's very similar and works the same. But it's a very versatile rig. You can it has the tripod, a little tripod on the bottom, but you can fold the legs down, and you can hold it by the tripod or up here. So it's a really cool rig.
I loved when you guys were at the seminary, and like just watching, the girls are just sitting there waiting for, all of that stuff, and they got the camera here. They got one on their chest that's doing something, they got their little rigs that they hold. Like, you guys do not mess around when it comes to production.
No, that's
all
run. Yeah. And it does. And that's all run by, Justin. That's all his the ideas that he's come up with. And it's the, like the face cams, that's what they use, the chest rig. And they have the face cam, and they have little lights that I made, and they're not even painted. I just threw them together, and I still need to make more, but it's just one single LED, and it's just supposed to illuminate their face for the face cam. That's all it's supposed to do. And they have that on their chest rig as well, and so that illuminates their face, and then they have the rigs to carry around. And Justin wears one too, and he carries one of these rigs I just showed you. He built his, and he found the batteries and everything, and we all got the batteries, and but he carries one of those around, and Derek and I, we carry a shoulder rig, and we actually have our lights hanging from the mounted on the bottom, and then we also have the face cam and Gen 1 Demon actually on the for the face light until I still have to make face lights for us too. But my Demon that I use for my face light, I actually have black tape over the one LED, so it's not too bright.
Whatever.
Yeah, but until I get everybody's face light done.
That's what, hey, it's a lot quicker than building another one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But and then I have the next step up from that is the 20-watt. This is the Necro, and of course it has the the magnetic diffuser on it, and it has a different kind of battery compartment on the back. But it takes two batteries to run it, and of course it's the external. It has the DC input on it, so you can run the external power. And this one actually has the large pathway. Like I said, there's two versions of the pathway lighting. This one actually has the large pathway on it, and this main switch here, so middle's off. So if you're running batteries in the back of the light, we'll switch it to 2. If you're running external, you switch it to 1. And I do it that way so that you can have batteries in the back, plus you can have the external plugged in, and it's impossible to accidentally power the light with both sources, so you don't burn up the light. So if one source dies, you can just reach up and switch switch
That's
it
so
to the other
nice.
source. But like me, I don't use external power. I just throw 2 batteries in the back and go. But if you're running static camera or something like that, the external battery holder is something that'll, because it takes 4 batteries, so it'll last almost twice as long. So you can set it up on a tripod with a static camera, and you can let it run. Depending on which light, you can run it all night long. But so I'll switch this one. So this is the large pathway. It has 2 white LEDs on the bottom, and then you just turn it on, and it illuminates the floor.
Yeah, that's such a good idea.
And this one here, well, all the Necros actually, switch and turn it on, but you have the adjustment, so you can actually turn the adjustment up and down.
Nice.
And all the Necros are like that. Now the other, let's see this one here. This one's the Necro Night Shot. I don't have the all white one. I don't even know what I did with it. Well, I have a Necro that's like this, but it doesn't have the middle row. It's a 40 watt light, so it just has 40 watts of IR. And this one here is the Necro Night Shot, and this one was basically designed for like Sony Handycams, and there's some Canons out there, maybe in Panasonics, where you can actually switch between night vision and regular filming. So you can actually use this light, which the top and bottom row are IR, and then your middle 3 are actually white. So you can actually film in regular light or in IR. But it's also good for a flashlight. You can just reach up and hit a button and just turn the light on so you can see. And where am I have 2 other. Let me get 2 other batteries here. I'll show you this one. Now the bigger lights, you can actually turn off half of the IR. So whenever you turn the night shot on, you can turn on the top row, and you can turn on the bottom row, or turn one off. And so you can actually lower it down to 20 watts. So if you're in a smaller area, you can lower the IR down so you're not blowing everything out. And then of course it has the adjustment on it as well.
Nice.
But the white light, you can do 5, you can do 10, or you can do all 15 watts of white light. And of course, it has the adjustment on it.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then this one has the small pathway on it. I gotta get it right there.
Oh yeah.
They're just small LEDs, and they're not real bright, but it's just enough to light up the ground, and then you just turn those on, and then just.
I mean, honestly, when you're in a dark room, all you need is a tiny little light just to give you enough to be able to see.
Yep, and that was the whole concept of them.
That's
But some
awesome.
people like brighter. Some people like the brighter pathway, and I do those too. And it's actually the large pathway is actually the same LEDs that I put on the front of the
Oh wow.
the night shot. So they are really bright. What else do I have here? Of course, I mentioned the 40 watt, which I don't have in front of me here, but then we have the big boy, and this is the 60 watt Necro. And this one is as soon as you turn it on, the middle row comes on, and then you have your buttons on the sides. So this one will illuminate the top row, and then this green button down here illuminates turns on the bottom row. So you can have 20, 40, or 60 watts of IR, and of course the intensity adjustment. And then the red button is for the pathway. This particular one has large pathway on the bottom, and this is actually Anthony's light that I'm borrowing.
You're borrowing your own.
Yeah, I'm borrowing. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of display lights for events, and normally, if I finish a light, I'll usually ask the customer. I'll be like, "Hey, I have an event coming up, and can I use one of these for a display?" And I actually have two. I have two of my displays. I lent those out to a couple of people that I know. So Brian on Sean Gilmore's podcast, Brian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He has a demon that I lent him, and the other one, I don't know if you know her or not, Ashley. She lives over in Texas. I'm trying to.
Oh, Ashley Storm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
She has my 20-watt display. She's using that.
Nice.
And so I don't have as many.
Well, they're
as
good.
many
They're good
displays.
people. You'll get those back.
They are very good people. Yes, they are definitely.
Oh
But that's now I have this prototype. This one's just ridiculous. But, I've only built one.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually a 120-watt necro, and just to give you a size comparison, this is the 60-watt that I make. It's the biggest one that I produce.
It was the biggest one.
Well, this one's just a prototype. I haven't worked the bugs out of it yet, and I haven't had time to work on it. So I currently don't have the only one, but it actually has a battery meter on the side.
Oh, nice.
I'll put a couple batteries in
Do it up.
just to show.
Yeah. Light this place up.
John is here to talk about food.
Yeah, judging by the past comments, I'd check to see where your wallet is, Josh.
Heisenberg. We weren't supposed to tell him.
Yeah, I haven't seen the comments, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on in there.
That was not me, for the record. That was totally Heisenberg.
See, now I have to figure out how to turn it on.
Who built this thing?
Yeah, who built this? I don't know. We may not. Who did build this thing?
Oh, Josh, I'm sure we'll talk about pizza sometime.
Right?
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Well, anyway. So this one actually holds four. It'll hold four batteries, and I've done it before, but I don't remember. It'll run on 2 also, but I just have to figure that one out.
I really like magnetic cases. That makes for on and off. Especially in the dark.
Yeah.
I really like the magnetic cases in the back, because that, especially if you're in the dark, it's so much easier to deal with that. And you would think the case would cause that much trouble, but they do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But the back of this, this has the battery compartment. This one has holds 4 batteries, and it's also, you can also externally power it. But this one has a battery meter that I put on it, and that was kind of tough to mold in there. But but the light is controlled by this thing here. You can turn it on and off. You can adjust the brightness. You can make it strobe. You can make it blink. You can adjust the intensity, all that stuff. And it's also a wireless remote, so you can actually control it.
Nice.
You can be across the room. It actually has really good range. You can also control that wirelessly. And that was one of my other features that I haven't advertised, was with the correct power cord. I usually wire in the controller using powering the light externally. I can wire in the remote feature, so you can actually have the remote feature with all the dual power lights.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do like the magnets, because there's nothing worse than having to change the batteries. First of all, is annoying, but then when you got to get out the tiny screwdriver and not drop the screw in the middle of the building, and that's genius.
Yeah.
But they do, with the right batteries, and they all run on 18650 batteries. And if you've never seen them before, they're a lot of people use them in their vape mods, and a lot of flashlights are powered with them now. But they're just a fairly large battery. But all the lights are powered with those. Now, depending on which, you get what you pay for, and these. I have 14 of this particular brand, and I use them every week. And I've been using them consistently for 2 years, and they've been doing really well. They've been holding their, lasting just as long as when I first got them. And so whenever somebody asks me, how long does this light last? I base the times off of using these batteries and the light at full intensity. So when I'm testing a 60 watt, I turn all 3 arrays on, I turn all 60 watts on, and I crank it up, and I walk away.
Nice.
And that's how I test things. I do the functional test, of course, make sure everything works, and then once I get the diffuser done, I throw it on the workbench, and I turn it up, and I let it go. And once the batteries have died, I take the light back apart, I check all the wiring, and if I find a loose wire or a bad switch, because sometimes I'll find a bad switch, the test starts all over. And that can be time consuming, or it's always time consuming. But so when I base those times off of those 2 things, that's like worst case scenario. So it's like using these batteries. This is how long you can expect this light to last at full intensity. So if you're walking around and you're not using, you're only using 20 watts of the 40 watts or 60 watts, you don't have it at full intensity, your battery life is going to last a lot longer than when you're at full intensity. So that's like, that's the lowest time that you can expect are the times that I give you. So normally the 20 watt, 2 of these batteries will last, I want to say 5 hours at full intensity.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then you can get almost double that using the external with the 4 batteries in it. You can probably get 8 to 10, I would say.
That's awesome.
And like the 40 watt, you'll get about 3.5 hours at full intensity with just using the 2 batteries in the battery compartment on the back of the light. But I always use the external holder, which is I actually have one here, which is this right here. And you just take the lid off, and it actually has a little battery meter on it. You can hit the button, and it has 3 lights on it, and it'll tell you where you're at. But it just comes apart. It's a waterproof container, and it has 4 slots for 4 batteries. And this comes with all of the power lights, or the externally powered lights, and it actually has has 2 plugs on it, 2 outputs. You have your output, your 8.4 volt for the lights, and you actually have a 5 volt output where you can actually, if you have a rig like this one, you can actually power your action camera or charge a phone, whatever runs on 5 volt. You can use this, and you can power your light at the same time.
Nice.
And it has a Velcro strap, which I personally don't like the Velcro strap. That's just what it comes with. I usually modify stuff. I don't leave stuff alone, so I kind of make it my own. So you can attach it with the Velcro strap, but I prefer other ways. But that the lights always also come with that as well. But
that's awesome. So, do you have more?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I didn't get to watch anything for Old Licking on Halloween. How was it?
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. There was some channeling going on that I've witnessed it before with Missy, but when Anthony joined us, and when it happened to Anthony, it was right in front of him whenever it happened, and he actually didn't remember me coming up the steps, and this happened on the 4th floor, and he didn't remember me coming up the steps, and I even called his name, and he answered me, and I walked over, and we actually had a conversation before he sat in the chair. He was way in the back of the cell block, and they had just started the live stream, and they were coming up the steps because he asked what that sound was. And I said, well, I think they're coming upstairs because they started live streaming. He goes, no, I heard something in the shower to the left of me. And that's when I lost him. He wasn't answering to his name. He was talking about some other things, and it was pretty crazy. Justin got in front of him, and he was trying to snap him out of it. He was trying to joke around with him, and how we joke around and everything,
Right.
and just trying to joke around with him, and he wasn't, he wasn't responding to any of that. And just to kind of look at him, he wasn't. It looked like he was somebody else, and it was very weird to me because witnessing something like that, it was, it may not, people watching it may not believe that
Right.
that's actually happening, but actually witnessing it and everything, even when Missy does it, I get concerned because it's like I can't do anything to help her. I mean, it's not like, do I just shake her to wake her up like she's having a
Right.
bad dream or what? So Justin, she usually comes out of it herself, but Justin was trying to get Anthony to come out, and he was actually channeling for a good while, and he doesn't remember any of it. I actually sent him the video clip that what I filmed, and he doesn't remember any of it.
Wow.
So
That's got to be so scary for him too.
Now, the experience that I had was he called down on the radio. He said something's on fire, and I got my rig on and everything like that, and I started walking up, and I know it doesn't sound like I'm rushing to get up there because
Right.
something's on fire, but it does make sense. Trust me, it does make sense. So on the fourth floor was where the women were. It was the women's cell, and I guess the story was that there was a woman that that committed suicide by catching herself on fire. And then, to make a long story short, because there was stuff before that happened, and she was put in that cell, and she had said that if she was put back in jail, that she would commit suicide. Well, she managed to catch herself on fire. So, and we knew that story. So when Anthony called down, he's like, something's on fire. It's like, because he does have abilities, and he was picking up on things, and he was very accurate. Darren was there to, validate things and tell us about things, but he was also there to investigate with us too, which was also nice to have Darren with us. And so I got my stuff on. He was up there by himself. Jess had come down, and I was going to go up. And so as I'm walking up there, I had to walk past the first floor cell block, walk up the steps. And each time you go up the steps to go up to the next floor, you pass a cell block. So each time I go past, so I walk past the first cell block, and I get these chills, like something's behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anything of it because, I'm focused on going up there to investigate with Anthony. And so I passed the second floor cell block, and the feeling gets stronger. I get chills again, and it just feels like something's behind me. So by the time I get up to the fourth floor, it's like I have a line of people behind me, is what it felt like. And they were just following me. And then I get up there, and Anthony starts channeling, and it was actually at some point he just started pointing. He just put his finger up. He was sitting in that chair, and he just put his finger up, and he just started pointing. And then he started doing this. He was like, because we're all in that narrow hallway, and he was telling us to get out of the way. I was like, okay, so we kind of get out of the way, and he points. He's like, don't you see him? And we're like turning around, and Darren's standing there, and I was like, are you talking about Darren? And he's like, don't you see him? He's right there at the end of the hall. And we're like, no, we don't see him at all. But it was supposedly somebody. I don't know if it was a guard or something like that, but it was a guy that always watched the women in the cell block.
Oh, wow.
So it was something that was disturbing. Whoever was channeling through him was, concerned about or angry about the male at the end of the hallway. But it was, if you watch the live, you can see, the whole thing. I think it's on.
Yeah, my
on
first
YouTube or
because they were freer to walk around, but who knows,
Yeah, and but it's a very interesting place, and that was the second time that I've ever been there, and I really like the jail. Darren hosted us both times, and he's just awesome. We always like to hang out with Darren, so that's definitely one of our favorite places to go.
Yeah, it's on my never-ending bucket list to get out there.
So you've never been there?
No,
Oh, you have to go.
I know.
Can't be that far. It's still in Ohio.
I know. I don't know how far it is from Madison, but I'll
Now,
make it there eventually.
there's a lot of locations that I don't have location or don't have experiences in. I don't have personal experiences. Most of the time, I'm focused on filming.
Right.
I'm always holding a camera, or I'm flying a drone, or I'm setting up cameras for stuff. Time lapses, things like that. So I don't always have experiences. But Madison, I actually had an experience, and I didn't remember it. And so watching the documentary and watching me have this experience was like, yeah, I don't remember that happening. That we were up in the asylum, is what you call it, and it was the big room, but there's the hallway to the
Yeah.
right as you come up, and we were back that way. Derek and I were, and I just kind of dropped to one knee. Something took the energy out of me. I don't know what happened, but I don't remember that happening at all. So it was kind of weird, but it was an experience that I had there, and I always like having those experiences because I don't have very many.
Right. And to be honest, a lot of times you're right. When you're focused on the filming aspect and, you're focused on getting the lighting right and getting the right shots and doing all of that, there could be footsteps right next to you, but you might not notice it. So it's probably hard for you guys to have personal experiences.
Well, everybody else does around me, and everybody's like, "Oh, did you hear that? Yeah, I heard that." It's like I didn't hear anything.
Right.
Like Missy says it all the time. She's like, "You're always like, I don't see shit, I don't hear shit."
That's all right. I mean,
but every once in a while, something happens.
Yeah.
But I've never been attacked. I've never been scratched. I've been touched before, but I've never been. I've seen shadow people, but I haven't. I don't have what you would call, abilities. I'm not a psychic medium. I'm not a, I don't consider myself empathic or anything like that. But everybody else on the team kind of.
Well, you know what? Nobody else can make the lights, so you guys are even.
You got the ideas for the lights. That's yours.
Right. Yeah. And the production is amazing. So you're fine.
Justin
you don't have to have a
well, Justin does all the editing. So anytime you see a video, it's edited by Justin.
Yeah.
So he takes all of our footage and he works his magic. And
it is magic.
Yeah. And
even just
it's
the
really
trailers.
good. Yeah, it's really good in 4K. So if you have a 4K TV and you can jump on YouTube and watch it, it's definitely worth watching the the 4K version of everything.
Yeah, for sure. I watched the trailer for The Haunting at Hillview Manor. Justin, how's that going? He was on the chat. When does that come out?
I think he's trying to have it out by Christmas, but he's been consistently working 50 hours a week.
Oh my gosh.
So it's I'm not real sure. We don't really bug him about it. He'll tell us, that he's got this far, or he's trying to get it out by Christmas, but we still have 2 other ones.
Oh my goodness.
To come out with. We did Octagon Mansion, and then we teamed up with the Ghost Guild out of North Carolina, or South Carolina, North Carolina. I think it's North Carolina, and we went and did OSR, which was not only I know you won't be surprised, but it was a quiet night for me, but everybody else in the group that I'm in, on Interface Death also kind of mentioned that it was kind of quiet, which it happens. It doesn't for me, it doesn't take away from the experience because I like doing the photography. I like setting up cameras and stuff like that. I couldn't fly the drone at OSR, but just doing different things like that. I like the whole process, and I like really like the team that I do it with. So it really doesn't take away from the whole experience for me. If there's no activity, that's okay.
Right.
We'll eventually be somewhere where we have some activity, but filming with everybody that we film with is amazing. We always have a good time. We always, of course, eat good food. We always mention the food. Justin said, "Oh, it wasn't about me." No, Jess said something about, Justin needs a clown.
Oh.
He said maybe not a good idea.
Did you read it? Aubrey says hi, Uncle Josh.
Oh,
That's important.
yeah,
I had to make sure that was up there.
Anthony, tell Aubrey I said hello too. Yeah, Justin said Hillview will be up before the year is up. He said he has some time off coming up, and he won't be too busy. He'll be able to knock that out. But then we still have to review and do Octagon Mansion, which is another really awesome location. It's small, but it was really cool. Oh, excuse me. And then we did OSR with the Ghost Guild, which was fun. It was good seeing those guys again, and but that's the only 3 that we got to this year. We wanted to add Fairfield, of course it packed up pretty quick, and which is definitely understandable. It's not surprising at all.
Right.
And, but hopefully next year that we'll be able to maybe some of the craziness will die down, and we'll be able to get back to some kind of normal and be able to film it at more places.
Yeah. I think the timing on Fairfield, it sucked that we had to stay closed for a little bit, but at the same time, like, everything was getting shut down and people's investigations were getting canceled all the time. So, here's this newly available building, and hey, you can book it. So people were like, "What? You're not closed? Like, you're actually taking reservations?" Like, because I've heard of so many places just canceling people's reservations and like with no rescheduled dates. So I think people were really excited to get back into investigating. So
it's an interesting location too.
Yeah.
And you have the American Horror Story bus. Is that actually from the filming of?
I think so. I mean, that's what Adam was told. So
I was trying to look it up. I was Googling it and everything. I was like, is that really the bus? Because I really like American Horror Story, and that was one of my favorite seasons. The only season I didn't watch was the one about the election. I just really didn't get into that.
No.
Didn't like it. It might have been good, but and I actually met the cast from Freak Show. I don't know if you watch American Horror Story or not, but I used to go to Scarefest every year, and I met them at most of the cast at Scarefest from Freak Show. So it was really, and the picture that I have, you could do photo ops with some of the celebrities and stuff, and it was like a family photo. They put you right in the middle of everybody, and everybody's smiling like it's a it's a family photo. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
It was fun. Scarefest, Scarefest was a lot of fun for me. That I didn't go last year. Of course, this year they canceled, but my new favorite event is the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash.
Yeah.
I really like going to that. We've gone to that for 2 years, and of course we were supposed to go there this year, but that canceled too. So hopefully next year. Go to that. Have you been to that before?
No, no. Getting canceled this year was going to be our first year.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it got busier every year. More people coming in, and it's like MadCon. I mean, it's for a good cause. I mean, they have Heroes for Hire, which is a guy, and I don't remember his name, but he has an actual Batmobile, and he dresses up as Batman, and he's a very good speaker, and he talks about different things, and he he does things to lift spirits of children, and they have kids there at the bash, and they do have activities for the kids, and and he'll take people for rides in the in the Batmobile,
Cool.
and so they had they help. It's also to help out the Pennsylvania Wounded Warriors. So all the a lot of the money from the event goes to the Pennsylvania Wounded Warriors, and for the I forget the organization too, for the sick children that they help out, and they also I don't know if you know Pam and Steve Barry. They have the
Yeah.
Gettysburg Ghost Exchange. Very very nice people, and
Yeah.
they're the ones that do the bash, and they also bought a vehicle of their own, and they had somebody, I don't know if it was I think it was airbrushed, that they painted the whole vehicle, and they use it to transport vets and sick children to their doctor's appointments, hospital visits,
Aw.
whatever. If they don't have a ride or whatever, they can call them, and they'll go pick them up and take them. And
That's awesome.
so just very very nice people.
Yeah, we had them on the show before they canceled it, because they were still, up in the air talking about things that they might, well, maybe we could get away with it if we do this or this, but then ultimately they ended up canceling it.
So I really like when there's events that benefit things like that, like like MadCon with cystic fibrosis, and
yeah,
Adam's taking advantage of the great locations that he has to have
mhm.
these events to raise money, and like Pam and Steve Barry to raise money for the not that there's anything wrong with having events at locations to to raise money for whatever, but
Right.
to take advantage of a haunted location and using the paranormal field to help others
Right.
is really awesome, and I
Yeah.
like attending events like that. It's and the people that you meet, a lot of the times you get other vendors at your booth, and you walk around, like Justin, he'll do a live stream and broadcast on Interface Death, and he'll walk around to each booth and talk to each person. And, what do you have? Your paranormal group. You basically plugging your group or what you're selling or
Right.
whatever, and showing everybody
I love
what's
it.
So,
I mean, obviously I've never been to Gettysburg, but MadCon's just it's a totally different vibe. Everybody's there to do good things. So there's no drama. It's like a family reunion, but I don't know about your family. My family has a lot of drama. So it's like a family reunion, but without the drama. Everybody's just so happy and supportive, and it's awesome. I do love the fundraisers.
I have a important question about Gettysburg. So does Batman like grown-ups in his car?
Who asked that?
Heisenberg.
Oh, me, totally.
Something like that, for like a question like that from somebody from Gateway or Interface Death. I would expect that kind of thing from them. But we definitely want to, and we're planning on it. We just have to pick the right location to film at, but to film with Gateway Paranormal. All those guys are
nice.
Oh
my gosh, they crack me up.
They're hilarious.
I don't know how they even get investigations done. I told them that at MadCon. Like, how? I feel like it's just like a comedy show the whole time. They're so funny. Like, how do they get any serious investigating done?
Well, look what they did when they did Fairfield. They were there for how many days, so that they probably need a location for a few days, so that.
I got to go. I got to go with them on the Madison. At Madison after MadCon, and when they're in there, they're working.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so bummed. In 2 days of investigations at MadCon, I not even 5 minutes got to investigate with them. I don't know how that happens, but
yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing a collab with those guys. And
yeah, they're fun.
I do have to be honest. I was disappointed that I didn't win the window at MadCon.
Oh.
I put a lot of tickets in that.
Yeah.
The window's right here. right
What
behind me.
window? Oh.
Oh, look at that! I put a
just
lot
have
of
to be at
I
the
put a
right-
lot of tickets
right
in that.
time.
I put a lot of tickets in for that doll too.
Yeah. Long Gone dolls really,
I'm
they
gonna
really
get
get a
one.
lot of tickets.
I'm gonna get one that's probably Pennywise themed.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You really can't see it, but behind me, off to the this is backwards. Right here
Uh-huh.
is a custom Ouija board that I had made that has Pennywise on it.
Nice.
That just
Is
seems
it a
like
friend of yours or that's something you could just order?
Well, I was at a event where somebody was making like REM pods, but they had these wooden boxes, and they had somebody wood burn the designs in them, like locations. They had locations. I mean, it was really really detailed. And I'll in a second here I'll get it off the wall and show it to you. But I had her do Pennywise, and then the balloons have the Deadlight logo in the balloons. I actually have the I have the it's dusty, but I have the planchette.
Oh my gosh,
There.
wow.
oh wow, that's pretty cool.
But the detail in the wood burning on the Ouija board is awesome. And I don't use it for anything. It's just display.
Right.
I hang it up on the wall. I buy stuff like that. You know, if I know somebody is selling something that something custom like that, I like to support. You know, if
Right.
I can get something custom made, or even you know, it has somebody's logo on it. You know, I buy T-shirts. Gosh, I have this collection of T-shirts. It's crazy. They're in this big. I don't even wear them because I have a reason why. But I have this collection of T-shirts. It's from locations, from other teams, and you know, just places I've been, and I want to cut them apart. And I can't do it. I'll have to have my mother do it. But make a quilt basically,
Nice.
just that I can hang on the wall.
Yeah.
And it'll just show all these locations and all these teams, and you just kind of have Deadlight in the Deadlight logo in the middle, and it
Nice.
just kind of show you know, show all the places that I've been, and you know, some of the people that I've met, and you know, even customers of mine. You know, sometimes we'll do like a trade off, you know, a shirt for a shirt, or
Right.
hat or whatever, and I like the T-shirts because I can. You know, I can cut them, and then we'll be able to put them all together. And
You can also look it up. You can put them on canvas as well. You can just put them on a regular canvas. Just get one at the store and then just, you know, wrap it around and staple it on the back. Super easy. You could do that.
It would be a huge canvas.
No, you do each one individual and make like a giant.
Oh gosh, individually.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, no.
You know, in your spare time.
But in my spare time.
Yeah.
We're remodeling the kitchen, and it's
Oh geez.
it's not even done yet. So it's livable. Like the countertops and everything are in. The appliances are replaced. You know, it's just the things that I don't want to do are left, like trim.
Yeah.
There's lots of trim to do. The drywall doesn't bother me, but I haven't tried flooring yet, so I don't know if I hate it yet or not. But we're gonna do flooring and everything there. But it's slowly but surely getting done. You know, I'm hoping to. I need to expand the shop, because what you see behind me, that's the shop. So depending on what process or what stage I'm at in the build, that's what you end up seeing behind me. You know, as each step progresses, it's, you know, the workbench changes. So
Right.
if I'm sanding, I have the sander, and then that thing behind the under the garbage bag is a drill press. You know, I set up each station depending on what stage I'm at. So I want a bigger shop, so that, and it's actually, I think it's like a 9x11 room.
Oh yeah.
I think it was actually originally the dining room. I don't know. I never use it as a dining room, but it's a shop now. So
Nice.
because I used to build them out in my living room on a little stand that you would eat off of.
Oh my god.
You know, and depending on what stage I was, you know, what stage I was at, you know, I would do wiring and stuff in the living room, and then I had a workbench and a vise in the kitchen, and then I would do my sanding and stuff outside. And it was like, well, what am I going to do in the winter? I'm not going to be out there sub-zero degree weather,
Yeah.
out there on the belt sander, standing. So I needed to do something, and it was actually Jess's idea to turn this room into the shop. So that's what we did.
That's awesome.
And but next year, hopefully, we'll see what happens. But next year, I'm hoping to build a garage for storage, and half of it will be a bigger shop, so I can add more 3D printers. I can I can build different stations depending on what I'm doing.
Right.
Just kind
And
of
then
help it
quit
better.
your day job and just
I can't do that.
and just do this.
Deadlight doesn't offer good insurance, so I have to keep my,
True.
I have to keep my full-time job.
Yeah.
You need to talk to the boss.
I do. I don't know if it's me or Jess, because she does the books.
Yeah. She's the boss.
I'm not sure who that would be.
About your man doll.
Oh yeah, did she say that on there?
Yeah.
The man dolls. I have almost all the Pennywise Funko Pops.
Nice.
And what actually started that was Eric Knapp. Do you know who Eric Knapp is?
Yeah.
He posted up a picture of a Mothman, and I bought it, and that was the end of it. It was like, oh, they have, because I'd never heard of them before. Yeah, and then now I have a lot of them. I have different ones. I have, gosh, I don't know. I think what was the last one I got? All I can remember really is Pennywise, and I know I have. They make Funko Pop rides, so they have like the A-Team van, and they have like like BA sticking out the top, and so I have I have Ecto One, and I have the A-Team, and things like that, and but there's some other ones. I'll see something that's cool, and I have to have it.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Do you have a display of them somewhere, or you just have them?
They're
all
not.
over the place?
Well, they're in the office right now. So whenever Jess is on the show whenever Justin does live shows, Jess does the she's one of the moderators, so she's in there, and she said they're all staring at her.
Well, it sounds like those need to move out to your workshop.
But they're all just kind of stacked up, and I'm going to put an office out in the garage, so
nice.
They can do live streams and stuff out there. So they'll probably get displayed out there. I'll just have to build a bunch of shelves. But there is one other thing that I bought. Have you ever heard of Rob Hernandez? He lives out in California. He builds spirit boxes. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to use it at events. I had him build it for me because I have this toolbox, and all the things are. So this is the base. I don't have batteries in it right now, but it has the power button on it. So this thing actually shoots lights, different colors of light.
Yeah.
So he before his laser engraver, I think is what he used. So he made this.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's
and this actually goes down in here, like the stand here, and it lights up different colors, and you can see it really, really well. So I'm going to use this at events to put on the table.
That's cool.
And it actually has a remote with it too, so you can make it do different things, and you can make it light up and everything. And I actually got one. We got one for Justin that it has the Interface Death logo on it.
Nice.
And, so it's just I like those kinds of things that that we can get customized, and supporting other artists,
right,
and the things they do, because not all of it's equipment. Some sell crystals and just other little anything that you can customize and hand make and stuff. I really like that, and I can appreciate the time and the effort that goes into those things. Right,
because you live it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
and you understand how much you appreciate every customer.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's for the Madison window. I'm gonna paint like a moon with trees and put it in there, like behind it, to customize it myself for that. But yeah, it's gonna go in there. I got to build something to keep it in place. But
I mean, I can find a spot for it here if you have room.
Right.
Seriously, just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
I do have some bricks from Madison. I'm a
Nice.
brick collector. I like to, I try to, we'll go to a location and I'll always ask, Derek does it too, but we're like, hey, is there, do you have any bricks laying around that you don't want? I'll offer to buy, donate, whatever. And what surprises me is a lot of locations that I've been to that I've acquired a brick from, they just give it to you.
Yeah.
I got one from Octagon Mansion, and I told the guy I would make a donation because they had a donation jar inside.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, there was a big pile of them, grass is growing up over them. And, he's like, go out there and take one. And so I tried to give a donation. He's like, no. I was like, no, you need to take a donation. So I dropped money in the jar. And, I've made donations for bricks before, but most of the time, a lot of people don't take the money. But one thing, and I had this conversation with Daniel Class. I bought the yep, and I have it up there on my thing. It's a nail, it's a piece of wood, and I think a piece of gravel or rock from the location from the Hinsdale house, and he sells them for $10. Totally worth it. For me as a collector of odd things, totally worth it for me, and I think that can help out a location. It's like I've mentioned it to different locations. Like, why don't you have these and you want to get rid of them? Why don't you sell them or just post them? Some places have things on a shelf for sale or whatever. I was like, put a brick on there and put a price tag on it. I mean, people like
you're
that
not
stuff.
the only one that collects bricks and things from buildings. I mean, it's there's a big market for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've even a lot of locations. I've even asked for extra so that I could give them to Steve Hummel because I know he, with the museum, he has bricks from different locations. He even has, dirt samples from different places. And
we got a bunch of dirt at Madison. He can have.
You need to send it. Yeah, I know he has. I gave him a brick. I gave him a brick from Madison. It was one of the bricks I gave him.
Did I go get that brick for you up in the attic?
Yes, I think I went with you up to the attic.
Another one, and then I went back up and got it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. I thought that was you.
One of the times I went up with you.
Because
I think it was you I went up there.
Yes, right? Because the first time we went up there, Shelly and I walked up and it smelled like something died up there. Like we actually thought we were going to have to get an animal carcass or something out of there. That's kind of our job, I guess. We're going to have to do this. It smelled so bad. We were gagging. Oh. And we come down and then Josh asked, well, could we have another one? I'm like, seriously, you're going up with us this time. And, we told him it smells so bad up there. And then we get up there and he's like, I don't smell anything. Yeah, we didn't smell anything either. Yeah. Okay. A smell like that does not just go away. No. That was a crazy night. And
that is pretty crazy.
It was so bad. We seriously just grabbed it and ran because we couldn't even stand it. Mm-hmm. We were about to throw up. It was that bad. Wow. And then we go a half hour later and
it was not like that.
It's like when you bring the car to the mechanic and you're like, it's making this noise. And then you bring him up there, you got to smell this. And then he gets up there and there's nothing. It was crazy.
Yeah. That's the way it goes, just like, you never have the camera pointed in the right direction when something happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a fun night. I hope you enjoy your bricks.
Oh, I do. I actually have I have some in here, and then I have some out in the front porch, and I have them in order. I need to label them, but I have them out on the front porch, and I have them in order, and that's how I can identify where they came from.
Nice.
So anybody could mess with me and
oh God,
that's not from Madison, that's from here. But they all have their specific look, and I kind of remember, despite having a horrible memory, for some reason I can remember the look of the brick and know where it comes from.
But not people's birthdays or names or anything.
Yeah,
I know exactly what that brick looks like, though.
Yeah, yeah. So I've cluttered the place with odd things. I like, Jess and I both like going to antique stores, and I don't really look for anything in particular, but I always look for something that just kind of pops out, just kind of
Right.
sticks out, and they're like, oh, that looks pretty neat. And if it has a decent price on it, I'll get it, and then we figure out a way to display it. But
There's
there's
always
a
room.
there's a
There's
lot
always
of
room for
things.
more weird things and antiques.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I want to have on display. Not that we get many guests, but I just like to look at these things. But
Right?
we have a plan to in the living room where the TV is, I have some old wood out under the carport that was given to me, and I actually spent the time to take all the nails out and everything, and I think we're going to cover the wall with it, and I'm going to make the shelves and put the bricks on, and it'll be labeled on which where they came from.
That's a good idea.
So where are Jess's crystals going to go?
She has, hers and mine. Another one of those collections that just kind of mysteriously started. But so I started collecting, crystal skulls, and they kind of multiplied. So we have those. We have those on a bookshelf. So her crystals and stuff are on the shelf, and then mine are in the. So when there's a full moon, it gets kind of crazy. How are we gonna get them outside? How are we gonna? I don't know. Just throw them in.
I'm sure that with all of your knowledge and how good you are with engineering stuff, you could make a little conveyor belt that will take the crystals outside and then bring them back in.
Or kind of hole. I don't know.
Yeah, who cares if you have to duck under it to get in the kitchen?
Right? It's fine. Okay, make it fold up. That's fine. I mean, maybe once you get the garage and you move all that stuff out there, then she can have that room.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe because it's supposed to be a room. It's supposed to be a bedroom, but it's so small. It does have a closet, but you really couldn't fit anything any bigger than just a single bed in there. And so I think what we're ultimately wanting to do with that is make make another bathroom, because there's originally a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, and so once the shop gets moved out and all the stuff we have in storage, beside the shop, we want to make this a closet. The shop will be like a closet area, and then master bedroom on the other side. So once we make this a bedroom and the other one a bathroom, it'll be 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it'll be nicer for when we have guests, because we'll have a spare bedroom. We won't have to smash a couple of air mattresses in the living room together, so that everybody has a place to sleep.
Nice. I think that anybody who goes on paranormal investigations is used to that sort of living anyways, but maybe like when family comes or something, they might want a bed.
The one time all of us had a just one hotel room. We shared a hotel room. I don't remember where we were at. They'll probably mention it in a comment there where we were at. But Jess and I were in one bed. Derek and Missy were in the other, and Justin had an air mattress. And I was like, that thing will fit in the hallway. He said, that's not going to fit there. So we just inflated it until it hit the walls. And he had a gave him a place to sleep there.
Nice.
So it was pretty funny. It was totally a fire hazard, because if you ever had to get out quick, but it worked for
I
one
think,
night.
Until you hit the walls is a standard measurement for air mattresses.
Right.
There we go.
Old Licking County Jail.
Licking County.
Yeah.
Funny.
I saw Matthew Fiole jumped in there.
Yep.
Oh, he's saying hi just to the girls, though, not us.
Well, he said hi to Justin.
Oh.
I guess Casey did get on earlier. He's the one that had the idea for the calendar.
Your bearded.
He wanted some kind of shirtless dude's calendar. I don't.
Of course
You know how Casey is. I mean, that shouldn't surprise you.
No.
That's very funny. Hi,
Yeah,
Robert.
that shit between him and Steve and Matt, that was killing me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
appreciated it so much. Oh my gosh.
I got a front row.
Everything's just been it's been so negative and so hateful and like I guess maybe if you didn't know how much those guys love each other, then it might be different. But oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard with them.
Mhm.
Yeah, our booth was right across from them, and I was just sitting there cracking up.
Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah, it's always a laugh. And even the I don't know if you saw one of my favorite videos they did was I don't know if you remember when they did when they got the sponsor for Spider energy drink.
No, I don't.
Oh
remember
yeah,
that.
you gotta watch it.
Oh god,
because Casey's standing there drinking this, and they had a label. I think they had a label on the can. So Casey was drinking poop juice, and I think Fioli like slapped it out of his hand and gave him a spider drink. It was hilarious. I don't know if they still have it up on their page or not.
Oh gosh,
It was
that's
hilarious.
amazing.
But they're so creative. They're so
I know.
creative, and they're funny, and they have fun doing it. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm so glad the
it's awesome
universe
to watch
brought
them.
all of them together for all of our enjoyment.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I think they even moved to Steve's table.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Raffle.
Just during the middle of the raffles, they just picked up his whole table and just moved it to where he couldn't see it.
Oh, there's Casey about right. He said poop juice.
Poop juice.
I think he said he switched back to poop juice. I don't. Out of all the energy drinks they have out there.
Oh, it's still there. We're gonna have to watch it. Oh,
yeah, you'll have to look it up.
Talking about energy drinks, we always bring this up. What's your favorite go-to snack when you're on an investigation?
Oh,
it's a
well,
tough
I
one,
like. Yeah, it is. I mean, of course, after I have tacos or taco pizza, or some form of pizza.
Nice.
I like candy usually, just something quick, or chips, or anything, junk food.
Anything.
It doesn't matter. Coffee. Yes, we've taken coffee makers to locations before.
Yeah.
And then we, of course, we bring our own creamer and stuff like that. But
well, that's pretty smart because some places don't have that.
Right.
No.
And especially
Old Licking County Jail did. They had, they made coffee for us, and they had snacks too. They had snacks there, and we brought our snacks. And you definitely don't want to go hungry when you're on an investigation.
Right.
Yeah.
I love when people will pull up with like crock pots and all kinds of stuff.
Really?
Like you should see some of these people take the food just as serious as they take the investigation. I swear.
Well, I don't know if you ever heard of St. Albans Sanatorium or not, but there's a house it's kind of on the same property, but I think it's owned by somebody else, but they rent it out, to investigators, and it's a full furnished house.
Nice.
And I think they call it the Inn, but you can get a 36-hour. You can rent the St. Albans for like a 36-hour investigation.
Oh, that's nice.
That's pretty good.
And then you can rent the Inn. I think it's $180 a night. So if you get a 36-hour investigation, I think it's $1,500 for 36 hours. And then you have to rent, if you want the Inn, you can rent the Inn. And they say they claim it's on them too. I never had any experiences there. I've slept there.
That's a theme, though. Has anybody else had experiences there?
Yeah, I think so. But it sleeps 13 comfortably. I mean,
nice.
There's bedrooms with beds. They have a full kitchen, and they even have a grill out back.
That's awesome.
So you can grill, you can cook, and there's plenty of restaurants in the area too in Radford. So, it's a good location.
Nice.
So I'm hoping that someday we get to, for us to go film there. I think a 36-hour would be ideal for for all of the daytime shooting and stuff like that,
Right.
investigation stuff. So I think it would be ideal to do something like that, to film there. I never really investigated the place. I've been on investigations there, and I've been to events there, but to investigate, with with interface death, I
Right.
think that that would be a really good location to go to.
Yeah, especially with all that time.
Right.
I mean,
Mhm. Because normally we don't have, we may have 8 hours. So we have
Right.
our production meeting. So as soon as we get there, Justin's going to do B-roll. Derek's going to do
Mhm.
B-roll. Missy and Jess are helping with different things. They're running back and forth, and they have to do walkthroughs, and then Justin has to do interviews, and then I'm doing drone footage and setting up time lapses, and all this has to happen
Right.
before we start setting up for the investigation. So then we've got to set up static cameras. We have to put our rigs together, and then sometimes we do a live stream, and Justin has to or Justin or Derek have to put together the live stream rig to live stream,
Right.
and then sometimes it's late getting the live stream started because we always have these equipment fails, and batteries are dying, and things aren't
Right.
working that we
Right.
tested prior that worked, and good night, Justin. He has to get up awful early to go to work. But, so all that stuff has to happen, and then we investigate.
Right.
And then we have to fit in, tacos before we start. So
Right. Obviously.
So it's you're running around like a nut because you got to get all that stuff done and hope the footage is good. And so because you don't want to give Justin a bunch of crappy footage,
Right.
because then he has to work harder to make it look good.
I know it takes time because we used to have we had 4 cameras and we had a DVR. That's how old it was. And it took us a long time just to set up those cameras, and that's why we stopped doing it.
So
and then you have to take into account tearing it down too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You have enough time.
And we don't do DVRs. We'll set up 1, 2, 3, like static cameras, and let them go. And if we want to, we can move them to a different place. We don't have to run cable. We don't have to do any of that stuff. We can't watch it live, but that's okay because we're usually focused on other things. So there's so much to focus on whenever we're trying to do a production in 8 hours. So it's nice whenever places like you guys at Madison allowed us to come in earlier so that we could do the daytime stuff and then do the investigation. So
well, I mean, that's what's Adam's a filmmaker as well, so he wants to make sure he keeps it cheap for people to be able to go, and he wants to be able to accommodate to people, and I love that. I think
it's a great price. It's a great price to stay
there.
So it's definitely worth it. And I think that's for up to 10 people, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's like nothing.
Right.
And the place is big enough for 10 people if you plan it out right.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, you could do 10 people, no problem in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could split.
Especially when I mean, there's even when we would do the public hunts, we would have like 20 people plus, some of us. And even that gets a little bit rough because it's like the public, it's their first time doing this, whatever, so they don't understand be quiet when you're walking the halls. But even at 20, if you had, professional people who understand to be quiet, it would be good.
I was reading Matt Fueley's comment there, and my only answer is ask Justin Brown. But to be honest, Matt, I've watched some of their early videos, which were good, and the newer stuff that they're doing, and because of how creative they are,
right?
the stuff that they've come up with is, I really enjoy watching their stuff, even their shorts, the short videos that they put out, and I really like watching that stuff. So they're a great group to follow.
Yeah, for sure.
The other one I like
they
is
have an artistic side too that I like.
yes, yeah.
I love their pictures that they take. It's different angles.
Mhm.
Everybody takes pictures of the building the same way,
Mhm.
but they definitely have an artistic side to it that I love.
Yep. And they've added a lot of equipment. Just for filming, not for investigating, but for for filming, and they're also customers of mine. They also have a couple of my lights, and actually whenever I lent I started one of the new things that I was coming out with was a light that was all white LEDs, and I had sold one, and it was actually an accident because the customer that ordered it didn't know that it was IR. So when he got it, he turned it on. He's like, "Are all these LEDs supposed to be red?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's they're IR." He's like, "Oh, I thought they were white. I don't even have a night vision camera." And I was like, "Oh," I said, "Give me a little bit." And I run in the shop, and I have all kinds of stuff. So I throw something together and I test it out, and I'm like, "Yeah, I think that'll work." I was like, so I messaged him back. I said, "Send it back to me. I think I can do this." So he sent it back to me, and I switched them all out, made them all white, and tested it out. Tested out great, and it was actually a 60 watt. It was a 60 watt light, and he wanted all white LEDs. So I did that, and he loved it. And I actually posted a picture on the Deadlight page because I love when I see people using the lights for different things other than the paranormal. And he actually went night fishing, and the picture was you could see the light on the dock, and it was lighting everything up while he was night fishing.
Nice.
So I posted that up on there. It was really cool to see that. And so I built another one, and it was just a 40 watt, and I had it on display there at MadCon. And Gateway, one of the last documentaries that they did a lot of regular light, filming in regular light instead of IR. So, I told them about this feature, and of course, I would, I told them about, modifying one of their lights with white LEDs because they have two of my lights, and then modifying one of theirs in white light, and I know that Terry, one of their guys in their group, he does a lot of the filming with the the gimbal, with the DSLR camera and everything, and he does a lot of regular light filming. And so I lent him the light to use, and they used it. I believe they used it that night at Madison, and then he held on to it until they filmed one of their documentaries with it, I believe, too. So before he sent it back, I needed it back so that I could use it at an event. But so they were one of the first to test that out, and I got some really good feedback from Terry, and come up with some other ideas on. He said in some areas it was just even at its lowest setting, it was still pretty bright. So we talked about some things, and I think I have a good idea to help them guys out. So
Nice.
it was good to have them test it and give me some feedback. I see that Steve Brode is in there. They're going back and forth.
Oh yeah,
Apparently, Steve just found out that they have a documentary, which is surprising to me because they were set up right beside each other at MadCon. So you'd think that they would, You can tell that they're good friends because of how nasty they are to each other.
Right.
They love each other.
Up that whole time.
They love each other.
Yeah, I was cracking up.
I didn't know who they were talking about at first when they started talking about $7 stickers. But yeah, it's been pretty comical.
Yeah. Well, we only have 13 minutes left.
That went quick.
So I know,
Yeah.
right? So tell us what you have going on. What you have coming up next. I know it's kind of quiet.
There's one more event. We're not as of right now, we're not doing any more filming or any kind of investigation or anything until next year. But I sponsor the Twisted Realm, Twisted Paranormal Society, good friends of mine, and they're having an event at the USS Wisconsin in Norfolk, Virginia next weekend, and
Nice.
they asked Jess and I to come down and be special guests. They also have James Amino. He's a demonologist. There's been another guy, Duo Demonology. I can't remember the name of it, but those guys, I've heard of them before, and I've seen James at he goes to Gettysburg Bash, and so it'll be cool to talk to those guys too. They're also special guests at the event. So, and it's a huge ship. It's a huge battleship that was turned into a museum in Norfolk there. So it'll be cool to get down there, and I'm not expecting to investigate. I'm going to set up a table and set up some lights and everything. And I guess I have to talk in front of a bunch of people, which isn't one of my favorite things to do. But I'm looking forward to seeing the ship. Of course, it's always nice seeing those guys and meeting new people, of course. But
right.
It should be a nice little event to check out. And Brandon, who's part of Twisted, we're planning on getting some cool photos while we're there the day before. Nice. So we'll get to walk through and take pictures.
Is that something people can get tickets to, or no? Is it sold out already?
I'm not sure if it's sold out or not. I think it was. Sold out. At least the VIP was, but they started doing different events like that too, and I don't know if they have any more yet this year or not. I know we have Penhurst. We have Penhurst booked for next year.
Oh, wow.
In May. So we're going to.
Hopefully, we can get under control.
Yeah, definitely. It would be nice to get some kind of normal,
right,
going, so that we can get out and do our thing, and because I think that everybody just wants to be happy and live their lives, go to work, enjoy their life, come home and be with their families, and just be normal.
Right. I'd like to go back to boring and uneventful.
Yeah. See, I mean, everybody has their preference, and nobody wants to be told to stay at home, or or wear a mask, or you can't go here, you can't go there.
Right. Stuff gets canceled all the time, and
it's hard to plan anything. It's it's
right,
especially with locations that book up quick.
Right. Or like these events, a lot of money goes into those events. A lot of money for marketing, and even like drinks. It's something simple, but when you're expecting so many people, that's a lot of money you got to spend on those kind of things. And especially with like the marketing, it's not like you could just reuse it next year. You know what I mean? It's so it's hard for places and event companies and whatever to plan these events, not even knowing if they can do it. How much money do you want to put into it?
It's a scary time right now for event planning, because you don't know if anything is canceled.
Right.
Yep. Because if you're a group wanting to book a location for an event, I mean, you have ticket sales, and you have the booking the location, you're paying to book the location, and it's scary, because then you have a lot of work if you have to cancel.
Right.
And that's one of the things, that I thought about whenever I started getting backed up on orders. And one of the things I think that I do differently than other people who sell equipment is I don't take any money until if you order a light for me and I'm 5 months behind, it costs you nothing. I put you
Yeah.
down on the list. I let you know a week or two ahead of time, and you don't you don't you don't get an invoice from me until your order is ready to ship, tested and ready to box up and go. And I don't take money until then, because if somebody cancels, because I understand a lot can happen in 5 to 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things can happen, and all they have to do is message me, and I'm not going to get mad. I mean, I understand that things happen.
Right.
Anything can happen in that amount of time, and so I would just just go continue on down the list.
Right.
And even if I didn't have a list, somebody would cancel. I mean, it's no big deal. I can make a display later. I can sell it.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. So I think
Yeah.
it's good to not take money from somebody and make them wait that long for their product.
Right.
So I don't do that. And I do priority 2-day shipping. I provide tracking numbers. I also put insurance on the package for the price, the total price that they paid, so that everything's secure. They know when their package is going to arrive. They know where it's at because of the tracking, and there's insurance on it. So if it gets lost, they have the peace of mind that they're either going to get their money back or they're going to get another light. I'm going to build another one. So it's and everything's done through PayPal, and they can pay. They can pay through PayPal. They can just pay the invoice with a debit or credit card. It doesn't have to be PayPal, but that's what it's all done through. So. So everything's secure. So, and now that I've built this reputation, because if somebody's new and building things, you might be a little leery, especially nowadays, about buying something from somebody. But now that I have that reputation, and like Justin always put it, you have to build the brand, and when you have the logo and people recognize the logo and people recognize your lights and when my one of my lights was used on Ghost Loop, I had several people message me, and because I never put it out there, I never put it on the page or anything, or like, look, Deadlights on a TV show, I never did that, but people would message me, and because they recognize the look of the light. They don't have to see the logo, because in some of the episodes they had the logo blurred out. A couple of the episodes they had black tape over it, and then some of the episodes they just showed it. So they weren't filmed in how they aired. They weren't filmed in that order, but so it was weird to see. Like the beginning of the season, everything the logo was blurred out, and then a couple of the episodes I saw the logo. Actually saw the logo on the light, and then toward the end of the season, they just had black tape over it.
Nice.
But it was
like
just
your black tape over your light.
But it was really cool to see, to see that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Something that you built.
And I do see your shirts all the time in everybody's episodes and documentaries and everything.
Yeah, Gateway wears them, and Sean Gilmore just did a TikTok video yesterday, and he was dancing around. You can see he was wearing a Deadlight shirt.
Nice.
I've heard nothing but good things about your light and everything. Like, your Deadlight.
Right.
That's a good thing, So you built your brand, I think.
Yep, I'm very happy at how they turn out, and I'm glad that that people are really happy with the product that they get.
Yeah. And you could tell you put so much, you care about it so much. You put so many details in there that makes things easier for people, that you didn't have to do all of that, but you can tell that, first of all, you use them. So you know what's convenient and what's not, and that you really care about your name being out there.
Yep, I do. And they're if anybody has a problem with one, because stuff happens, all they have
Somebody
to do
ran
is,
it over with a car and nothing happened to it.
yeah. But
Does stuff really happen?
some stuff, they're electronics, so, things happen. I can only test them so much here before I let them go out in the field. But if something happens, all I have to do is get them here. I fix them, and normally, typically, whenever somebody explains something to me, I know exactly what's wrong with it before it even gets here, so I'm ready for it. And when it gets here, I get home from work, I open the box, I fix it, I test it, and usually it's shipped back the next day. So they're only without it for a little while anyway. But it's
Awesome.
I cover the shipping back, sending it back, and so all I have to do is worry about getting it to me, and I take care of the rest.
Yeah, here's Dustin. He almost threw the $12 away that you put in the return.
Oh
envelope.
yeah. Dustin had
too.
Dustin had a problem with his light, and he sent it to me, and I told him I would cover the shipping, and I don't remember, I couldn't send it through PayPal or something for some reason. So I put $12 in the envelope, and I fixed the light, tested everything, I sent it back, and it just hit me the one day, and I was like, I sent him a message. I was like, "Did you notice that envelope in your box?" It's like, "Yeah, I just thought it was part of packing or something like that." And I was like, "No, there was $12 in there."
Nice.
And he sent his son out to look in the garbage because he just took the garbage out.
Nice.
So I remembered just in time, and he was able to find it. So
That's good. So how do people find out when you're starting to take new orders?
I will make a post on the Facebook page
On
when
the
I'm
Deadlight
ready to
Facebook
take
page?
orders again. And there's a lot of people waiting. I know there's somebody waiting to order. He has a 10 light order.
Wow.
And I know somebody else wants to order 8. And that's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. It's like I don't know what they're going to do with it. Well, I know that some of them, somebody, like Anthony, he's a good friend of mine. He uses a lot of his with his DVR setup. So so one of the big orders is going to be Demons. So that's the only 3D printed light that I do. So I can be printing stuff. I can be printing parts out and still filling other orders. So that won't be too bad. But when you get somebody that orders 8 neck revs.
Right.
I mean, that takes a while to build. It takes a lot to get through. So I'm gonna get backed up really quick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people waiting. Yeah. I always say, I have people waiting to get on the waiting list.
Right.
That's a good thing.
It is a very good thing. But I'm going to be working with that guy, and hopefully I'll be able to at least double my production.
Yeah.
Whenever we get stuff worked out, because these diffusers, these are handmade too. It's actually plexiglass that I have templates. I cut them out, I shape them on the sander, and sand them myself, and I heat them and bend them to fit the light. So
wow,
those are all handmade too, and I hate making them. So he also has some ideas on manufacturing.
Is his name Jay by chance?
That's it. That's him.
Yeah. Okay.
Jay Sterling. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. He's a good guy.
He's a very good guy. Very good guy.
What, Denise? I knew you were going to know who it was.
I know. Well, I actually am the president of an organization called Project 528, which is a nonprofit that helps Madison businesses grow. It helps them with marketing and things like that. So, yeah, if they're a business owner in Madison, I probably do know them.
Yep. Plus, he was at
my
MadCon. So he was at MadCon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was very nice meeting him. So.
Awesome. Well, I hope that works out, because that will help you out so much. Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
It will.
Good.
So it looks like it's gonna work out good. So
awesome. All right. Well, now we're 2 minutes over, which is fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. But Is there just want to make sure that you got everything out that you want to get out? This is
Yeah.
your show. If there's anything else you want
I
to tell
did.
people? Okay.
Well, you can always have me back on, and hope
Yeah.
Goose can.
Yeah.
I'm sure Goose has questions, and so.
And he was pretty bummed about missing it, but
yeah, it's okay.
that's fine.
His
Yeah.
family's,
We'll just have you back
working.
again. That's fine.
That's anytime.
All right. Go ahead, Heisenberg.
Oh yeah. Forgot what I was going to. I'd like to thank Josh for coming on the show. I love your comments over there in the comment section, especially when Gateway got on there. But we love all the comments.
And Hot Brat, don't disclude him.
And so, we have a new show next week, and Ray should be back, I believe, or the Goose, whatever you want to call him. Mm-hmm. So, I guess we'll spook you later, Crypto Heads.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Did I do that right?
Yeah.